Venezuela is not a healthy country, right? It's a struggling country. The Nobel Peace Prize winner is basically begging the U.S. to overthrow the administration. Is this the way the White House is going to do it?
Well, the U.S. government has a long history of covert action in Latin America, including regime change, countries like Chile, Nicaragua, Cuba, and others. And successive U.S. administrations has called for Maduro to respect the results of elections in Venezuela, which have elected his opposition. President Trump is taking a different course. He's publicly acknowledging covert action, ostensibly to send a message to Maduro that there could be regime change efforts. There's a significant military buildup in the Caribbean, Tony, 10,000 troops, many military vessels. And in addition to that, of course, there are these military strikes on boats to also send a message to Maduro that potentially land strikes are possible, not to mention the fact there is a huge reward from the U.S. government for Maduro's arrest or capture.
Is there anything, to assume that the CIA was already in Venezuela operating? I mean, I've seen season 2 of Jack Ryan. You see about this on TV, but, from your experience.
From my experience, without going into classified information, the U.S. government typically has CIA personnel in countries that are of national security interest. The CIA serves a range of functions. They collect intelligence to inform national security policy making. They also engage in a range of covert action operations, paramilitary operations, influence operations, and in many cases, including in Latin America, also regime change operations.
How have those operations gone in the past, generally speaking? Has the U.S. gotten the result it was looking for? And based on that answer, what are the risks here?
Regime change operations by the CIA have a very uneven, I'm being kind, history at best, Tony. It is true that the CIA has been successful in getting various leaders ousted. But in many cases, even when those operations are successful, what comes next is a really big problem. You get a leader out of power, sure, but ensuring stability in a country, ensuring resources, ensuring security is a whole other game, and that's been uneven and spotty.
I think we've heard the temperature sort of rising about people wondering, is there going to be a potential war in Venezuela? I mean, I think we've seen the president maintain he's more of a peace president. I mean, how worried should people be that something like that would actually happen?
Anytime the U.S. military is conducting these sorts of strikes in international waters and perhaps even in sovereign waters, there's always the risk of escalation. We have a lot of rhetoric from the Maduro regime, from the Trump administration, that is certainly worrisome. At the same time, I don't think President Trump is looking to get into a land war with Venezuela. I think the real risk here is unintended consequences and miscalculation. We saw that, for example, with the attack on what is seemingly a fishing boat and the murder of an unarmed fisherman.
Is there anything to suggest that Maduro is uniquely vulnerable right now?
Maduro has certainly been under pressure for a long time, so he is likely more vulnerable than he's been in the past. Financial sanctions, influence operations, and more, but he has staying power. So I don't know that regime change is imminent, but it certainly looks like President Trump is using every tool in his toolkit to achieve that.